There's so much happening in the country. The introduction of 16% VAT on fuel has caused an uproar in the country. Kenyans are angry. Kenyans have been angry before and done many things because of the anger. But this is a special type of anger. This is what I call informed anger. It has never been in this country before, and the politicians had better take heed. This anger in the country, unprecedented, that makes me wonder, what would have happened if Raila had not gone into the handshake? What would be the situation like in this country if Raila Odinga had not shaken hands with Uhuru Kenyatta on the 9th of March of this year? Where would he be, given this kind of uproar in the country? Could he be in the State House by now? Or sometimes in the near future? Could he be regretting that he shook hands with Uhuru Kenyatta? As I say so, I'm not against the handshake. Between October, March, and December, all the way up to January, I was among the few Kenyans who advocated for Raila meeting Uhuru Kenyatta in the interest of peace in the country. My YouTube video productions on this channel could attest to that. My appearances on TV and on talk shows and radio stations will still confirm that I was for this handshake, or at least for some form of meeting. But nevertheless, that doesn't stop me from questioning what is happening today and wondering whether, if Raila had not gone into this truce, he would be smiling today, perhaps in State House. This anger, like I say, is unprecedented. This informed anger is different from previous anger. Kenyans are aware of why they are suffering. Kenyans are aware they are going to have to tighten their belts to suffer because of careless borrowing by their government. Kenyans know that this borrowing is not only excessive, but has been spent on useless projects, overpriced projects. And a lot of the money borrowed has been stolen by their leaders. Kenyans are angry because they know they have maize in their homes they can't deliver to National Cereals and Produce Board because of the corruption in the country. Maize farmers in the North Rift are angry because they know their government has opened the borders to bring in maize from Uganda and other places. Sugar farmers are angry and they cannot take their children to school. They sleep hungry because their government, through Rotich, has allowed and controlled import of sugar in their country. Kenyans are angry because they are exposed to dangerous foodstuffs from outside the country. Poisonous rice, poisonous sugar, oil. Kenyans are angry because they seem to be on their own. It's because of this that I'm wondering, what could have happened? Because at the time of the handshake, Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga each had a half of the country. It's not a mathematical half. Whether Uhuru had 54 and Raila 46 is not the question. It is still half. Whether that 54% was computer generated or not is still half. The truth is, at that time, one individual had state power, occupied State House, had control of the instruments of violence. That person was Uhuru Kenyatta. The other person, going by the name of People's President, Raila Odinga, was the most powerful politician in the country. It's for this that I'm wondering, just supposing Raila had not gone into this truce, and the country moved in the manner it is moving, economists are predicting doom for this country. That Kenyans should brace themselves for tough times ahead. If the recent history is anything to go by, countries that have gone through this have had finally to address the question of leadership. Because you can't play with the politics, but the moment you play with economics, it is harsh, it is unforgiving, and the results are always of serious consequence. And therefore, Kenyans could be justified in asking, could there be a savior? Because if Kenyans think there is a problem now, that there's a problem with the price increase on fuel and which is going to impact on all other things, then I want to remind them 3 months, 6 months from now, they will look back to this suffering, and this suffering will look like picnic or Sunday school affair. There's going to be such a serious suffering in this country because the conditions we are being given by our donors, by IMF and others, and we are being actually punished for our bad manners, for managing our politics badly, for misbehaving with our economics, for having terribly bad fiscal policies, and then because we will have to put in a measure the conditions imposed on us, including devaluation of the shilling, Kenyans are going to suffer so hard that at that point, they could need a savior. Now, if that savior is already with Uhuru Kenyatta, what does that leave us? Where does that leave us? I suggest perhaps we engage in prayer. We ask our God to take care of us, as indeed He has done all these years.